Hey, good morning. It's Brian Bywater. I'm a missionary with Church Army USA, and I've got a moment for mission I wanted to share with you today, coming out of the parable Jesus was sharing in Matthew 21. And the whole premise of it is this: the proof of your salvation will be shown less on your bookshelf and more on the bottom of your closet. And what does that mean? Well, look, Philippians chapter 2 is clear when the writer says, you need to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. All that means is not earn your salvation. That was earned for you on the cross by Jesus. You can't do that. But when they're saying is work it out, that means live it out in your day-to-day life, understanding that God's given everything to you, and all you're doing through that transformed heart is pouring that back out on Him. Now, the parable in 21 says this: there were two sons. The father went and said to both of them, would you go work in my field? The first son said, yeah, I'll go. He didn't go. Later on, thought better and went. The second son said, oh, sure, I'll go. And he never did. Jesus looked at those around him and said, who do you think did what the father asked? And they said rightly, well, it was the first guy. Even though he said no too, later on he understood that his father had always given him protection, came to him, called him to go off into the harvest. So he went. And then Jesus gave a stunning close to this. You've answered well. I tell you that crooks and whores, that's what the Greek says, are going to get into the kingdom before you. You who spoke the words, knew all the right things to say, but clearly didn't live out this transformed life that God's given you. So I ask you today, is your Bible floppy and are your shoes clean? Now, if your Bible's floppy, that means you know and you read and you understand what God's done for you. But if your shoes aren't full of scuba, dirt, then clearly you don't know how much God's done for you because you haven't gone out. You haven't gone to the vineyard and worked for Him and given up your life for His glory. Is it inconvenient? Yeah. Can it be difficult? Absolutely. But I often stop and think, on Good Friday, how difficult and inconvenient was what Jesus did for us. Floppy Bibles, dirty shoes. Why don't you try for both? Bless you all.